Well, hello. This is the Green Corn Rebellion Show. I'm Gregory Harden II, and today I'm here with my friend Brandy Swinford, who is a teacher at the Early Childhood Center in Shawnee and is also Shawnee Teacher of the Year for 2022 and is also the chair for the Gregory Harden for State Representative campaign. And for those of you who don't know, that is my campaign. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, Greg?
I'm doing all right. Glad that we finally get to talk on the show.
Yeah. We've tried to set this up several times and it always gets rescheduled. So,
Yeah. Well, tell me where you're from and where you grew up, and tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
I was born and raised in Prague, Oklahoma. It's a small town about 30 miles east of Shawnee. Graduated class of 2001 from Prague. Married my high school sweetheart from Prague, Sean Swinford. We have 5 children, 2 grandchildren, and that's pretty much what we do. We take care of children.
That's good. Um, yeah. So what all did you do before becoming a teacher?
It took me around about 10 years to get my teaching degree. I got my associates in business and decided that that was not what I wanted to do. So I went back to school to be a teacher. That's about it, I guess. I lost my train of thought. But I've been teaching for this, finishing up my 8th year. So in early childhood, and recently won District Teacher of the Year. So that was pretty, as an honor. It's pretty awesome feeling.
That's good. What made you want to become a teacher, and specifically, what made you want to teach pre-K students?
Well, I've always enjoyed working with children, but to me, it was more than that, just helping kids when they're starting out in life. I enjoy being their first experience in school, so I get to like set the tone and set the whole school experience for them in pre-K. So I've always coached Little League basketball. I taught the after school program at Prague while I was becoming a teacher. I was always involved with kids in some way, just trying to mold them, as they're little. Not really what I don't think I do well with teenagers. My experience with teenagers is out of my realm. I know that's more of your thing, but I really appreciate the little ones. So I think that's where I'll stay.
That's cool. Um, so tell me about your experience being a teacher in Shawnee over the last 8 years, because you've been in at the Early Childhood Center all 8 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So my experience at Shawnee, so I taught kindergarten for 2 years, and then I had the opportunity to interview for a pre-K teacher, which was the position that I had always wanted. So I interviewed, I got that job. I taught pre-K for 5 years. And then this year, I tried we call it our Hope Room, helping our pack excel. Other schools call it RBI, their restorative behavior intervention. So a few years ago, Shawnee took a different approach to behavior students. Instead of suspension and sending them home to a home life that probably was not helping with the behaviors that we were seeing at school, we realized that it really wasn't beneficial to the teachers or the students to suspend. So we started these RBI rooms so that the students could go into a room and work on some of those behaviors, and the teachers were able to give them tools to use within their regular classroom so that they could be successful, or to come in and take a break when they become overwhelmed and just needed a little break. We're able to offer that for them. I'm also am able to mentor teachers that need help dealing with some of these kids. And the reason why Shawnee needs these classrooms is because we're such a high poverty area. So our littles experience neglect, abuse, just working parents that aren't home. And so it's just, I mean, it's sad, but it's just life for them. And so school is hard. All the expectations, all of the rules, a lot of learning disabilities, a lot of lack of education in the home. Mom and dad may have, 8th grade education. And so it seems like it's a lot of generational stuff that's been passed down to these little kiddos. But I've learned this year that really all they need is just someone to build that relationship with them and their parents, and a teacher like me to connect parents to resources. And then the parents and the kids are more successful. Sorry, that was a lot.
No, it's good. Tell me about winning Teacher of the Year and how you felt about that.
So at Shawnee, the Teacher of the Year, I was nominated by the early childhood teachers. They voted for me, and I won Teacher of the Year for the Early Childhood Center. So then I went to the next round, which was a teacher for the district. There was me and 7 other teachers, and it's a process. Like, you have to write 3 essays. There's an interview process where you have to sit down and answer questions. One lady was from the State Department. One lady was from, I believe, the Shawnee Public Library. And then another lady was from one of the tribes. And they ask questions, and you sit, at the end of a conference table and have to answer questions. And then they interview your principal. And then they have this Teacher of the Year banquet style thing where everyone gets dressed up. You come on stage and get an award, and then they announce the winner. And when they announced the winner, I was shocked. I did not think that Brandy Swinford from Prague, Oklahoma would win Teacher of the Year for a district like Shawnee. So I'm really honored that they chose me.
That's cool. And let's see. Okay, so tell me about your thoughts on the teacher strike in 2018 and the state of education here in Oklahoma.
So I graduated college to become a teacher in 2011, and I knew they were telling us back then, like, there was a shortage of teachers and that we didn't have as many people or teachers going through the program. And I remember making the statement that, I know that my daughter wouldn't go to college and pay for a bachelor's degree to go work for poverty wages for $30,000 a year. That just doesn't make sense to our younger generation. And I mean, you owe more in student loans than you're going to make salary. Yeah. So I knew then that there was a problem. And then when we had the teacher walkout, was that in 2018,
Yep,
2019? Do you
2018.
remember?
It was March,
2018.
late March, early April of 2018.
So when everyone was talking about it, I was like, this isn't going to happen. It's just a bunch of rhetoric, a bunch of people talking. But then it became really organized, really fast. The next thing I knew, our school was shut down and we were at the Capitol for 9 days. And the support and the energy was there. I mean, parents, we had the women attorneys. I mean, there were so many people there supporting teachers. Ted's Mexican was feeding all the teachers. I mean, it was just really, the support on the outside was heartfelt. And I mean, it was just so nice. But then when you got into the building, it was completely different. The governor saying that teachers need to get back to work and that they don't need to be here. And we don't pay you to be up here. Like, you need to be in your classrooms. And so it was like, they're not listening to anything that we're saying. And really the teachers it wasn't like, give me a raise. Like, I want my money. I want my part. It was because Oklahoma specifically has been defunding education for like 20 years. They've been funneling money that should have been to education into other programs, and they've been taking away from education. So like, our kids' textbooks were old and so outdated. Teachers have been buying school supplies. The furniture is old and outdated. Just everything. It's pitiful what our kids experience in a classroom compared to other states and what their kids are experiencing in the classroom. So it really wasn't just about teachers and giving us a raise. Obviously, if you pay teachers a living wage, you're going to get good quality teachers. But the pay here is so terrible that, I mean, it's hard to survive. It's hard to live and pay bills on a teacher's salary. So, I mean, it's a part of it too. It just wasn't the part. It was education in general, why teachers were wanting them to fund education the way that it should be funded. Because in my opinion, education is an investment. If the state invested in our teachers and into our schools and into our students, then in the long run, we wouldn't need so many social programs that that our lawmakers are against, because they don't like their tax dollars being pushed into that. And I feel like it would be beneficial, like I said, an investment to put it there in the beginning, into our schools and teachers. So that's just my opinion. But
yeah, teacher walkout or strike, that was fun to watch and be part of. It's wild because like that was 4 years ago, and in some ways it feels like things have gotten worse since then.
Well, COVID hit,
yeah.
But really COVID boosted education. I mean, we got money from COVID dollars to get technology. We were able to hire more school counselors. We were able to hire more paras. We were able to buy new smart boards and put all kinds of stuff into the schools. So that was actually kind of really beneficial to get that federal money that had to be used in the schools.
Yeah, some schools were able to pay their substitute teachers more.
Right, that was another thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Teachers got kind of a small bonus. I mean, it wasn't a lot. The paras and the teachers got a bonus. It was they called it a retention bonus. If you came back and worked after the pandemic, then they gave you this fairly small retention bonus.
But yeah, it was something. Um, so last question I have here is what kind of music do you listen to?
Oh, Greg. So, um, I listen to all kinds of stuff. If you heard my playlist, you'd probably be confused. I like 90s alternative and 90s rap are like that's my go-to music. But I also like I really I don't really like the new music. It's too much, too poppy. Everything's poppy now. Like the pop rock, there's pop, everything has a weird tone to it. I like a lot of the bands you like. Sean and I went to several of their we saw them in concert. We've chatted about that. Um, so you probably should have been a 90s baby too.
Well, I was a 90s
Well, grew up
baby, but I wasn't, yeah.
grew up in the
Grew up in the
90s
90s, yeah.
and you would probably have done like to be in that era for music.
Oh yeah, definitely. Late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, 2000s. Yeah, that whole
Mm-hmm.
era of music. But no, I think the reason why you don't like newer music is because you're just old now.
Yeah. I'm pushing 40, so I'm definitely getting old. And I'm a grandma, so it just makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm really excited about you running for office. I am so like I really do enjoy politics and trying to understand like how we got where we are today in politics. And so the fact that you are a young Black man, young, like in your 20s, running for an office is just awesome to me. It gives me hope for change and hope that other 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds will see you and have the confidence to do the same thing. Because I mean, that's huge to me. I think it's huge. And I am so proud and happy to support you and to get to be on your team and be one of your biggest fans and cheerleaders in this journey. So I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to have some of the elderly people's support in my election. No, I'm kidding. Um, but yeah, and thank you for wanting to be part of that and be the chair and help me out in any way possible. Um, it means a lot to have support from my friends with
Of
this
course.
campaign.
Of course.
Um,
Of course.
but thank you for coming on the show. Where can we find you on social media? And tell me about your Facebook page, Exceptional Teaching, and where we can find that.
So I started a Facebook page. It is called Exceptional Teaching. I needed a way to share some of my resources, share my videos and pictures of my classroom and some of the things that I do, because I feel like what I do works and I'm able to reach a lot of students that other teachers haven't been able to reach. And so instead of just sharing it on my Facebook page, I started Exceptional Teaching. So anyone that's curious about how to, I know we get told a lot that kids these days are so different than they were before and that they're hard to teach, but I think I've figured it out and I've kind of mastered it. So I'm willing to help anyone. You can send me a message on Facebook and I can reach out. I also have an email, swinfordbrandy@yahoo.com. So if any teachers out there need some help or need ideas, just email me and I'll try to help you out. Sharing is caring.
Yep, I'll put a link to your Facebook page in the YouTube description.
Okay. That works.